Every day, from the moment you open your eyes, life offers you a choice to repeat the patterns of yesterday, or a choice to cultivate new actions that can transform your future. What many people forget is that life is not shaped by occasional moments of greatness, but by the quiet, unseen habits that we practice daily. For a woman, habits are more than routines. They are sources of strength, balance, and identity. They determine how she carries herself in the world, how she nurtures her relationships, and how she cares for her mind, body, and spirit. The truth is simple. If you master your habits, you master your life. If your habits master you, then life will feel like it is slipping from your control. Today, we will explore 10 daily habits every woman must master. These are not just tasks to check off a list, but practices of awareness, discipline, and balance. They are the habits that will help you rise above distractions, cultivate inner peace, and walk with purpose. So, before we begin, remember this: change does not happen in one day, but it begins the moment you decide to take the first small step. And these habits will be your first steps toward a stronger, wiser, and more fulfilled self. The first daily habit every woman must master is the art of beginning the day with awareness. Most people wake up and immediately allow the noise of the world to enter their minds. The phone rings, messages appear, the news floods in, and before they even breathe deeply, their mind is already restless. But if the first moments of your day are chaotic, your entire day will follow the same rhythm. To live with balance, you must reclaim the beginning of your morning. Awareness is not something that arrives by accident. It is cultivated with practice. When you open your eyes, resist the temptation to rush. Instead, pause. Notice the simple fact that you are alive. Feel the air in your lungs, the rhythm of your heartbeat, the stillness before the day begins. In these quiet seconds, you are reconnecting to yourself before the demands of the world pull you in all directions. This moment of awareness is not small. It is the foundation for everything that follows. Think of your mind like a cup of water. If the water is already disturbed, even a small stone will create waves of chaos. But if the water is calm, even when stones fall, the ripples are gentle and manageable. In the same way, beginning your day with awareness allows you to carry calmness into every challenge you face. A woman who owns her mornings owns her life. This habit does not require hours of meditation. Even 5 minutes of silence, breathing, or gentle reflection can transform your state of being. You might sit by the window and watch the morning light. You might whisper words of gratitude for the new day. One, I clear know it, feels like. The ascension, such as, today I will act with patience, or today I will protect my peace. These small practices anchor you to the present moment, reminding you that you are not a slave to external events, but the creator of your inner world. Many women underestimate how much their mornings influence their emotions, productivity, and relationships. If you begin your day without awareness, you carry stress into your conversations, irritation into your work, and exhaustion into your choices. But if you begin with clarity, you carry peace into your family, focus into your tasks, and strength into your challenges. Awareness becomes not just a habit, but a gift for yourself and for everyone around you. This first habit may seem simple, but it is the root of all other habits. Without awareness, discipline feels like punishment, balance feels like struggle, and growth feels unreachable. With awareness, however, discipline becomes natural, balance becomes possible, and growth becomes inevitable. So each morning, before you step into the noise of the world, step first into yourself. Breathe, reflect. Be aware, in this silence you will discover strength, and in this strength you will begin to master your life. The second daily habit every woman must master is the practice of consistency over intensity. Many people believe that transformation comes from big actions, from sudden bursts of effort, or from extraordinary discipline shown in rare moments. But life is not shaped by what we do once in a while. It is shaped by what we repeat every single day. True growth is found not in dramatic actions, but in quiet consistency. Imagine a river carving its way through a mountain. It does not cut the stone by force or speed, but by persistence. Drop by drop, flow by flow, over time, the river shapes the hardest rock. In the same way, your consistent habits shape your character, your health, and your destiny. A woman who understands the power of consistency does not chase instant results. She knows that progress is invisible in the beginning, but inevitable with time. This habit asks you to release the desire for quick outcomes. When you start something new, perhaps exercising, reading, journaling, or practicing mindfulness, you may feel impatient because the results are not immediate. But impatience is the enemy of growth. Think of planting a seed. No matter how much water or sunlight you give it in one day, it will not grow into a tree overnight. It requires patience and steady care. Your habits are those seeds, and consistency is the water that helps them grow. Consistency also teaches humility. It reminds you that greatness is not achieved through grand gestures, but through small actions repeated daily. A few minutes of exercise every day will transform your body more than hours of effort once a month. Reading for 10 minutes every morning will feed your mind more than finishing one book in a year. Speaking one kind word daily will nurture your relationships more than a sudden act of kindness once in a while. It is the little things done with discipline that create the biggest changes. Many women fall into the trap of chasing intensity. They start with excitement, burning with motivation, but because the effort is too heavy, they cannot sustain it. Soon they stop and the cycle repeats. Consistency breaks this cycle. It asks you not to do everything, but to do something every day. Even the smallest step forward is progress if you take it daily. Over weeks, months, and years, those steps become transformation. Consistency also brings peace of mind. When you trust yourself to show up every day, even in small ways, you build self-respect. You no longer need to rely on bursts of inspiration, because discipline carries you. And when discipline carries you, success is no longer an accident, but a natural outcome of your actions. So let this be your reminder: do not chase intensity, chase consistency. Water your habits every day, even if only with a single drop of effort. Over time, the drops will become a river, and the river will carve your destiny. The third daily habit every woman must master is the cultivation of balance between the inner and the outer world. Many people spend their lives running after external success, material achievements, and the approval of others, while neglecting the quiet garden of their inner self. Others retreat inward, protecting their peace but avoiding responsibility in the outside world. True strength, however, is found in balance, in caring for the inner and outer equally, without allowing one to destroy the other. Think of a tree. What we see above the ground, the branches, the leaves, the fruits, represents the outer world. Your career, your family, your relationships, your daily responsibilities. But what we cannot see, the roots beneath the soil, represents the inner world, your thoughts, your emotions, your spirit, your values. If the roots are weak, no matter how tall the tree grows, the first storm will bring it down. But if the roots are deep and strong, the tree can withstand any storm. This is the importance of balance. Each day you must ask yourself, am I giving time to both? Am I nurturing my body, my mind, and my spirit, while also fulfilling my responsibilities in the outside world? Balance does not mean equal hours, but equal importance. You may spend many hours working, serving, or caring for others, but even 10 minutes of silence, reflection, or prayer can keep your inner self alive and strong. A woman who neglects her inner world may look successful on the outside, but inside she feels empty, restless, or lost. She may achieve goals, yet she carries no joy in them. On the other hand, a woman who neglects the outer world may feel peaceful inside, but she struggles with responsibility, discipline, and contribution. Balance is the key that allows her to live with peace and still walk with strength in the world. Balance also teaches wisdom in daily choices. For example, when working hard, balance asks you not to forget rest. When caring for others, balance asks you not to abandon yourself. When speaking, balance asks you to know when to remain silent. It is not about extremes, but about harmony, the ability to adjust, to give, to receive, and to live without losing yourself. To cultivate this habit, practice small rituals each day that connect you back to balance. Spend time in reflection to strengthen your inner world. Engage in purposeful work to strengthen your outer world. Nourish your body with movement and healthy food, but also nourish your heart with gratitude and your mind with learning. In this way, both the visible and invisible parts of your life will grow together. Remember, storms will always come, challenges, responsibilities, and pressures will not disappear. But if your roots are deep and your branches strong, you will stand tall. Balance is not something you find once. It is something you practice every day. And in this practice, you discover peace that cannot be shaken by the world. The fourth daily habit every woman must master is the cultivation of awareness. Awareness is the foundation of all transformation, because you cannot change what you cannot see. Most people live their lives repeating the same patterns, carrying the same habits, reacting with the same emotions without ever realizing why. They move through each day as if on autopilot, and because of this, they remain stuck in cycles that do not serve them. Awareness is the key that breaks this cycle. To live with awareness means to observe yourself honestly. It means to notice your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors without judgment, but with understanding. For example, if you find yourself often reacting with anger, awareness allows you to pause and ask, where does this anger come from? Is it truly about this situation, or is it a wound from the past resurfacing? When you ask these questions, you begin to see clearly, and with clarity comes the possibility of change. Awareness is like a mirror. Without a mirror, you cannot see your face, and without awareness, you cannot see your inner self. But once the mirror is in front of you, you can correct, adjust, and grow. Each day, take a moment to place that mirror before yourself. Reflect on your actions, observe your emotions, pay attention to the habits that are leading you forward and the ones that are holding you back. The practice of awareness is not about perfection. It is about presence. Too often, people live in the past, carrying regrets, or in the future, carrying worries. Both rob them of the present moment. Awareness brings you back to now, the only place where change is possible. When you are fully present, you taste your food more deeply, you listen to others more attentively, and you experience life with greater richness. In this way, awareness transforms not only you but also your relationships and your environment. To develop awareness, you do not need complicated techniques. Start with small acts of observation. When you eat, notice the flavor, the texture, the nourishment. When you speak, notice the tone of your voice and the impact of your words. When you feel an emotion rising, pause and acknowledge it before reacting. Even a few seconds of awareness can create a gap between impulse and response, and in that gap lies your freedom. Awareness also teaches compassion. When you understand yourself more deeply, you begin to understand others as well. You realize that everyone carries hidden struggles just as you do. This realization softens your heart and allows you to approach the world with kindness instead of judgment. Ultimately, awareness is not a skill you practice once, but a habit you cultivate daily. Each moment becomes an opportunity to see more clearly, to understand more deeply, and to live more consciously. And when awareness becomes a way of life, change is no longer forced, it becomes natural. With awareness, every woman gains the power to shape her destiny with wisdom and grace. The fifth daily habit every woman must master is the understanding that discipline is freedom. At first, this idea seems like a contradiction. Most people think discipline means restriction, rules, and limits. They believe freedom is about doing whatever you want, whenever you want. But true freedom does not come from giving in to every impulse. It comes from creating a life guided by discipline, where your actions serve your higher purpose rather than your momentary desires. Think of the body. If you feed it without discipline, choosing only what tastes good and ignoring what is healthy, over time the body will suffer. You may feel pleasure in the moment, but you will lose energy, vitality, and strength. On the other hand, when you eat with discipline, choosing foods that nourish and sustain you, your body becomes lighter, stronger, and more capable. This is not restriction, it is freedom. The freedom to live fully without being controlled by weakness or illness. The same is true for the mind. Without discipline, the mind becomes restless. It jumps from distraction to distraction, unable to focus, unable to find peace. This creates anxiety and confusion. But when you train the mind with discipline through reading, meditation, or focused work, the mind becomes sharper, calmer, and more resilient. Again, this is not limitation but liberation, because a disciplined mind cannot be enslaved by chaos. Discipline also gives you mastery over time. Many people feel they do not have enough hours in the day, but the truth is often that time is wasted on things that do not matter. A disciplined woman learns to prioritize. She decides what is essential and gives her energy to that. She learns to say no when needed, and yes when it aligns with her goals. This discipline creates space in her life, allowing her to experience not just productivity, but also rest and joy. At its heart, discipline is the practice of aligning your actions with your values. It is choosing long-term fulfillment over short-term satisfaction. It is waking up when you said you would, keeping promises to yourself, and living in a way that reflects who you want to become. Each time you act with discipline, you strengthen your self-respect. You prove to yourself that you are trustworthy, that you are capable, and that your life is in your control. It is important to remember that discipline does not mean harshness. It is not about punishing yourself, but about guiding yourself gently yet firmly toward your best self. It is like a riverbank that guides the water. Without the banks, the water spreads in every direction, creating floods and chaos. With the banks, the water flows with purpose and strength. Discipline is the riverbank of your life. When you understand this truth, you see that discipline is not your enemy but your ally. It is the tool that protects your energy, your time, and your peace. And with this protection, you are free to live with clarity, with strength, and with purpose. The sixth daily habit every woman must master is the understanding that small habits create a big legacy. Often, people look at the lives of others and believe that greatness comes from one extraordinary action, one breakthrough moment, or one grand achievement. But in reality, what shapes a meaningful life are the small choices made every day, the quiet disciplines that go unnoticed, and the repeated actions that build character over time. Think of water droplets falling onto a stone. A single drop does not leave a mark. Even 100 drops may show no change. But over years, the stone begins to wear down, shaped by the persistence of water. In the same way, your daily habits may seem small, even invisible at times, but they are shaping who you are becoming. Whether those habits are positive or negative, they are creating your future. Many women underestimate the power of these small actions. They believe that unless they do something big, it does not matter. But what matters most is not the size of the action, but the consistency of it. A smile to a loved one, a kind word to a stranger, 5 minutes of learning, 10 minutes of exercise, a short prayer or moment of gratitude. These may appear insignificant in isolation, but together they create a legacy of strength, kindness, and wisdom. Legacy is not only what you leave behind after you are gone. It is also what you give to the people around you every day. The children who watch you, the friends who listen to you, the colleagues who work beside you, all are influenced not by what you say once, but by what you consistently practice. If they see you living with patience, discipline, and awareness, that becomes part of the legacy you pass on. Small habits also build trust within yourself. Every time you keep a small promise to wake up on time, to eat mindfully, to reflect for a few minutes, to choose kindness over anger, you reinforce your self-belief. You begin to see yourself as someone who can be relied upon. This trust is powerful because it creates confidence, and confidence shapes the way you move through the world. The danger lies in underestimating these small habits. Just as small positive actions create growth, small negative actions create decline. A few minutes wasted daily, a careless word repeated often, or a habit of ignoring what matters may seem unimportant in the moment, but over years they become heavy chains. That is why awareness and consistency are essential, so that the small steps you take each day are guiding you toward the life you truly desire. When you understand this, you no longer dismiss the small things. You begin to see that every action, no matter how tiny, is a seed. Each day you plant seeds with your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Over time, these seeds grow into the garden of your life. And the beauty of this garden, the peace it gives to you and those around you, becomes your true legacy. In the end, life is not measured by the number of days we live, but by the quality of how we live each day. The habits you choose to cultivate are not just routines. They are the silent forces that shape your future. They decide the strength of your character, the peace of your mind, and the depth of your relationships. For every woman, mastering daily habits is not about perfection or becoming someone else. It is about alignment, aligning your actions with your values, your choices with your vision, and your moments with your higher self. The 10 habits we have explored are not meant to overwhelm you, but to remind you of the power of small, consistent steps. Even if you begin with one, practiced faithfully, you will see how it ripples into every part of your life. Remember this truth: greatness is not created in a single day. It is built slowly, quietly, through the way you rise each morning, how you treat yourself, how you respond to others, and how you face challenges. Each habit is like a thread, and together they weave the fabric of your destiny. So as you walk forward from today, carry these lessons not only in your mind, but also in your actions. Let awareness guide you, Let discipline strengthen you, let balance protect you, and let small steps build your legacy. When you do this, you will discover that true power does not come from the outside world, but from the habits you master within yourself. And with these habits, you will not only transform your own life, you will inspire others, leaving behind a legacy of strength, wisdom, and grace.